Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Feng Shui Living. I'm joined by Megan in this episode where we're doing a Feng Shui audit. We're going to help her reach all her goals. We're going to hear about her pets and her cool house and their cool music room. I hope you'll join me. Welcome to Feng Shui Living, a podcast for busy women looking to de-stress and live with more intention. I'm Lisa Morton, and I'm passionate about helping you create a home that not only inspires you, but empowers you. Years ago, I was severely struggling with my mental health and wellness, and while I'd implemented yoga, meditation, therapy, and more, I just could not find that missing piece of the puzzle. And that was until I explored my home. You see, the interior designer in me had made it beautiful, but it wasn't supporting me energetically. Fast forward, and I've now been in the interior design industry for 20 years, and I've devoted the past 10 years to Feng Shui and a holistic design approach. In this podcast, I'll be sharing with you interviews, stories, and knowledge, as well as some super easy, simple tips that you can take on today. If you're looking to be more intentional and create a life and home that you love, then you're in the right place. Hello, and welcome to today's episode where I am doing a Feng Shui audit. I'm so excited to have Megan here with me today. Hi, Megan. How you doing?
Hey, Lisa. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to have you and talk about your space and how I can give you some tips and some advice to help you reach all your goals and dreams and wishes. So I am here in my home office. I love to do these audits from my home office because all my tools, all my, information is here, and this is where all the magic happens. So it seems a little more appropriate than in the studio space. So I hope you'll understand that the sound quality might not be up to par, but we're going to keep going. So, Megan, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Yes, and I want to say thank you, Lisa, for talking with me today. Since I reached out to you, I've really been looking forward to our conversation, and watching your past audits that you've done made me really excited to reach out to talk through some things that I'd
Nice.
like to do this year. My name's Megan, and I'm from the Midwest. I'm a cat mom. I, have a degree in communication, have a lovely husband, and just always, I'm a personal growth junkie, if you will. So I'm always
I
looking
love that.
for ways that I can make life a little better.
I love that. And tell me about your cats' names.
Yes. So I have three kitties. They're all
Oh,
rescue cats,
that's
all
so great.
tabbies.
Okay.
Their names are Ella, Zoe, and Piper.
Those are the cutest. They just have the cutest names. Oh my gosh. And do they get along well? They're like sisters.
They do. So I'm looking over this way because Ella's over here. So she was the first
Nice.
cat that my husband Jeremy and I adopted.
Okay.
And the name Ella just came to me. It's like as I was the first day or so after we brought her home, we were talking about different names, and just there was something about the way that she was carrying herself with so much like grace and almost like a queen, if you will. And I don't know, it's just the name Ella just came to my mind. And then shortly after we adopted her, we had cats within our neighborhood that didn't have homes. And so
Mm.
it's been really rewarding over the past year bringing them in. And it's amazing because they have all accepted each other and get along really
Wow.
well
Wow.
and
That's
just
so nice.
bring a lot of joy to everyday life. Especially, I work from home, and
Okay.
I love their company during the day.
That's so nice. There's nothing better than I love working at home and like the dogs are laying at my feet or something. It's so nice.
They really remind me to be present.
Okay.
And I'm sure you experience that too
Yeah.
with your kids. It's just,
Ah,
it's so easy for our minds to get, so focused in the day to day priorities. And, it's like they come by and, rub against your leg, and it's a little reminder of slow down and be in the present moment, which is something that
yes.
I try to do.
Oh my gosh. I'm actually preparing this weekend. The London School of Feng Shui is doing a big conference, and they asked me to speak at it this weekend. So I'm preparing a presentation on pets and feng shui. And I had to add an area at the beginning just to talk about what they bring to our lives, because animals bring such wonderful things to our lives. And man, it's been fun to actually put that together and be able to just help people realize, sometimes we can just get into the day to day, but they bring us back and they bring us to, to get grounded and be present, like you said. Oh
I'm sure
gosh.
that's going to be a well-attended session. That's
I'm
something that
excited.
I
Yeah.
definitely want to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I'll send you the info if you, let's see, by the time this goes out, it will have been over, but I'm going to actually, my plan is to do a podcast and share some of the information in the podcast episode. So hopefully that will come to fruition. I, um, I have printed out your floor plan that you sent me. So if anyone wants to do an audit, you can do an audit. Just simply apply to do the audit and we will schedule it. I will send you an intake form. As Megan completed, send it back. I have my post-its on there. I'm the queen of post-its. But I also ask you to send me a floor plan. Does it have to be to scale? No. Does it have to be beautiful? No. I just want the floor plan in your energy of sketching it, of drawing it, of using the computer, whatever works. If you do have the original drawings from maybe it's been a recent build, you can also send those, but make sure if you have any notes you want to add to the drawing, anything that might be tweaked from when you did the drawings were created to when the home was built, note those so that your energy is really in that. But so I was looking at your floor plan and I love that you have a music and reading room.
So the backstory of that is that was our dining room for the longest time. And it's just my husband and I, we don't have any children. And the dining room became our spot for to dos or errands. Return these books to the library, go and
Okay.
donate these clothes to the local shelter or rescue. And we weren't really utilizing it to its fullest. And so, what was ironic is that my husband came home from work. We were just kind of talking as we were making dinner. And a lot of times we'll eat in the living room. It's very casual, it's not formal, that type of thing. And so he had been thinking about that too. And let's reimagine what this space can be. And, ultimately it's our home. And
Yes.
how do we want to best use this space?
Mm-hmm.
So
I
then
love that.
we were like, he had been wanting to get a new record player, had really gotten into buying LPs. And so we've got it kind of decked out. We call it like our 60s room, if you will. So it's got that kind of vibe to it. And our house was built in the 60s. So it's kind of
Okay.
a cute
I love that.
way of just honoring where the house is at, too.
That's fun. And I love that you personalized it to something that, appeals to what you do versus just having an empty space. I mean, so in recent years, it's interesting, in the past couple years after dealing with COVID and the whole time we were at home, right? People were like, oh, now we need to make rooms for things. But prior to that, everybody's like, let's open everything up and just using these dining rooms, they weren't even used. People weren't using them at all. I was transitioning dining rooms into other areas. I made several cocktail rooms, I guess. We do like club chairs and a coffee table. You could sit and play cards with your friends, have people over to socialize, drink some coffee, that kind of thing. I recently turned one into a reading room too. They love to read. They weren't TV watchers. Their kids could go watch TV. And then this dining room area, they could sit there in these cozy chairs we got. We got plush rugs and, gauzy draperies and made it like really cozy so they could curl up with a book. And I love that. That's so much better than having a room you don't use, right? And then the energy gets stagnant in there and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't support the rest of the home, right? So when I had you give me goals that you're working on or working towards. And I asked you to give me some information on your home. So you did note that proper sizing of furniture in your living room can be a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something, we really want to make sure the scale of the furniture matches the scale of the room. It's not too big in a smaller room. It's not too small in a big giant room. And it feels like it's just not even enough presence, right? So something to, think about is as you're going through, you can think about the shape of pieces too, more, while in feng shui, we want to stick to more curvy, soft edges. We don't want sharp points on furniture, say a chair, we don't want like sharp angles, right? We always want to lean towards something a little more, just softer curving lines. So, but you can think of like a taller chair is going to have a more of a presence than a lower backed chair. Okay. So things like that. If you have any questions, please reach out and I'm happy to look at some photos or do
For
anything to
sure.
help you with that. But then you also I have to talk about this. The front door knob
Mm-hmm.
is worn out and needs
Yes.
replacing. So, um, I'm always talking about the front door and some people may get tired of hearing about it, but the front door is the mouth of chi, right? This is where the energy comes into our home and new opportunities and new things come towards us. So important to get that done. So I would almost make that your number one task is to get this handled. Okay.
And the reason why I wrote this down on my list of questions for you was that was something that I learned listening to your podcast. And
Hmm.
I mean, it's been one of those things where you go to use it and it's, oh yeah, I need to replace this. I need to do this. So
I know.
I was wanting to repaint the front door anyways. So it's a good reason to just go ahead and remove the hardware and replace it with a new doorknob, right?
I love that. I love that. So think about this whole like refreshing that front area. If you're repainting, maybe check out that doorknob, replace it, and then maybe a new rug or something else to really, really enhance this area, make it feel really vibrant, really energetic. And just see, I always tell people, even a small adjustment like a new doorknob can be huge. So mark your calendar, and 6 weeks from now, come back and see what has changed in your life in just 6 weeks. It's wild. It really is. um, you also mentioned you'd recently replaced some leaky pipes. So
Mm-hmm.
that's good because leaky pipes affect our wealth and abundance, right? So it's always important to get those. And then I wanted to dig into your floor plan. So I will have, if anyone is watching on video, you'll see an image of this floor plan. If you're only listening on audio, you might want to check out the YouTube version of today's podcast. I'll also have an image of this in the newsletter. So if you don't get my newsletter, pop over to my website. You can sign up for my free home scorecard, and then you'll get this floor plan to see. So you can go along with us as we're looking at it. So you had talked about spiritual growth and personal development as one of your goals. So if you walk in through the front door, in my work, I use what's called the 3-gate method to apply the Bagua map. So the Bagua map is this tool that we use to overlay over the entire floor plan. And there are different areas or guas that correspond to different aspects of your life, from love and relationships to health and well-being to creativity, all these great areas, right? So when we're talking about spiritual growth and personal development, that is actually your bedroom. So if you walk in the front door and then head down to the left, that is all about spiritual growth and personal development. So while this might not be a place you want to get really heavy in personal growth,
Mm-hmm.
it is a great place for more quiet aspects of this. So meditation,
Okay.
prayer, self-reflection, journaling, right? Those quiet things, right? That maybe will feel more peaceful and not stir up a lot of emotion, because we don't want that stuck in the bedroom. Or if you do, make sure to cleanse that area, smudge a little bit, open the windows, get some incense or maybe some, get a diffuser going with some aromatherapy. But this is an excellent place. I don't know if you have a meditation practice or a prayer, just journaling practice every day. Maybe this is an opportunity to start one. You know exactly where to do it. Maybe there's a little nook in that room. Maybe get a cozy chair and have this
This
beautiful
this
journaling
was
spot.
my sign as you were saying that. I have been trying to make a habit this year of being consistent with journaling in the morning. And I had been journaling, and if you look at the floor plan, as soon as you come in the front door, the living room right there. So I had been trying to
Hmm.
make that a practice there, but I had been listening to a different podcast prior to hopping on the call with you, and the host had suggested putting putting the journal in your bedside table. That way, as soon as you wake up, instead of grabbing your phone off of your bedside table, grab your journal and, you know, uh, spend 5 minutes
I love
journaling.
it.
And I felt like that would be really easy to do, right?
Hmm. Yeah, especially because sometimes when you get in those more public areas, such as a living room, a kitchen, those more active, we're talking yin or yang, they're more yang areas, right? It can be hard to stay in that like quiet, peaceful, mellow space. But if you're in your bedroom, it's going to just encourage you to maybe even just more free writing and just allow it to flow a little more.
I love that. I can't wait
Good, good.
to do that. That's something I'm going to do tomorrow morning.
Nice. Do you have a cozy spot, a chair, a favorite pillow you can snuggle with in your bedroom to really help enhance it?
I do. It's like as you were saying that, I was imagining myself where I would, you know, just prop myself up, grab my notebook, my favorite pen, just have that right there. And,
Yes. And
even
there's
if it's
something
only a
about
few
that favorite
minutes.
pen,
Yeah, I know. I do have a favorite
right?
pen.
It reminds me of being like when I was I don't know how a little one, right? And I had all these like colorful pens and colorful markers, and it takes me back there. I have these favorite like purple and blue markers that I journal with, but it just enhances the experience, I think.
Yep, I can totally relate. I was a kid of the 90s, and I don't know if you remember like the milky gel pens and the different like paper, like the whatever that black paper was, that and those gel pens. I can't tell you how many times I asked for those for like birthday or Christmas, that kind of a thing.
And the roller balls. Remember the roller balls came out?
Yeah.
That's funny. I love how there's just been all these new people coming out on social media and stuff sharing about things from the 80s and 90s. And it's like, oh my gosh, I remember that.
I do have to laugh a little bit though, because sometimes I'll hear people use the word vintage with it, like, oh yeah, this vintage, 80s or
I
90s
know.
thing. And I'm
I
like,
know.
oh, I try not to associate that with myself. So
I know. I know. Well, and I keep seeing clothing these days, and I'm like, I wore that exact same outfit in high school. I mean, exact. Like, I should have saved these outfits for my nieces.
I know it is wild. It really is.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, let's get into your other goal, and that's health, well-being. Do you have anything specific here you're working with or anything you'd like to share?
A goal of mine, Lisa, over the past, I want to say it's been 7 years or so, has really been uh, making my mental health a priority.
I love that.
And I feel like I'm at a really great spot right now and have a lot of tools in my toolbox through therapy and even using different crystals,
Hmm.
which you've also helped me out with, and feel very supported. But
Yes.
I I always want to be open to new opportunities to continue to grow, continue to add things into that toolbox. So
Hmm.
that
I
was
love
that
that.
was something that immediately came to my mind when I had reached out to you, is if there are ways that I can be energetically supporting
Mm-hmm.
overall mental health, physical health.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing about that. Um, it's very personal for me too. That's how I got into this work. I was in a going through a very difficult time, struggling with my mental health and well-being. And I did everything, right? I did the yoga. I did the meditation. I did the therapy, everything. And really for me, it was my home. And it's funny because I look back now and I was like, of course I didn't feel good in that room. There was red everywhere. It was too young. It was too high of energy. I already had anxiety, and you look back now, but, so this is something I really love to help people with is help set up their space to support their mental health because, I think it's just so important to keep going and keep working and, keep improving yourself because you might have a yucky day, but tomorrow's another day. And, there's so many great tools these days, beyond just traditional things. You
Mm-hmm.
can get into feng shui, so, right?
I
And
love
implement
that.
wonderful things, rocks and crystals, natural materials. Um, but here's what I want to share with you about your space. So if anyone's looking at the floor plan, as you walk in the front door, your health gua is in the very center of your home. So if you're listening today and you're like, well, I don't know how to find that, I just want you to find the centermost area of your home and love on it. Okay. So there's two ways we can go with this. One is the center gua connects to every other gua of your space. So if you improve that one, by default, the other ones are going to improve a little bit, right? But then on the other hand, this center gua, it also is connected to your health. So connect to the earth element. We have the 5 element system. Connect to that earth element. So that would be the colors of beige, tans, browns, creams, and yellow. Okay, so you can bring those colors into your space. If they're currently there, maybe amp it up just to see, right? We always want to balance, but we want to balance for the activity in the space and how you need to be supported. Also, rocks and crystals are fun, right? That's nature. It's bringing nature in and they're just fun to collect, right?
Yes, they are.
Also, just anything from the earth. I love to collect pottery. Maybe you have some pieces of pottery you could bring in, anything natural. I actually just had someone had one of those sand zen gardens, right? Sand is from the earth. So think of anything that you dig down into the earth. Oftentimes people think plants or flowers or trees, but that's actually a wood element, which is a different story. So we want to stay really grounded and connected to that earth element. Start with a couple throw pillows, maybe a couple candles. You don't have to paint your entire room beige, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can start with a few small things and then add more and more and more until you start to feel your body kind of soften. Maybe you can take a bigger breath. Maybe your shoulders drop a little bit, right? And you can just feel that. Um, Also, let's see, I had a few notes here. Um, those brown earthy colors.
What about as far as crystals? What crystals would you recommend that are tied to the earth element that I could
Mm-hmm.
place in that area?
So rocks and crystals are earth, so you
Okay.
can't really go wrong. I always tell people I can tell you what rocks to put in there left and right, but you need to go to whatever you're drawn to, right? If you're looking at some stones and you're at one of those stores and looking at all these beautiful stones, just try to get really grounded, really centered, and see which one says, hey, pick me, right? Or your eyes just kind of go to, like, oh, look at that sparkle, right? And you just can't take your eyes off of it. Go there. But I do have a few favorites. I love red jasper
Mm-hmm.
is one that I use a lot for grounding. My husband carries one every day in his pocket. Um, I love howlite for calming down. If I'm stressed out and up here, howlite will just bring you down. I love smoky quartz. Amethyst is really good too. I think amethyst should be in every house, but so many good stones. Don't stress over finding just the right one because they're all earth.
Okay.
So any rock will be great. Another one that I love to work with is selenite. It's kind of a white, clear, beautiful stone. And you can find them in their raw form. You can find them polished. You can find them shaped in hearts and moons and beautiful things. But they're so cleansing and calming to our nervous system. So if you're struggling with anxiety, with stress,
Mm-hmm.
with tension, selenite is a great stone. And I even love to use this if I have clients struggling with sleep issues. You can slide one beneath the mattress in the box springs and it will help them calm down, or place one on the bedside table. You can also just keep one near you. If you're struggling with work, say you're having a rough day at work and you're
Mm-hmm.
feeling stressed out, have that selenite, place it near you on your desk. It's a great tactic to
That's a
go
great tip.
with that. Yeah. Yeah. I love selenite. So good. But selenite, big thing you need to know. Some people, there's different ways we can cleanse our stones. And some people will use water, but you don't want to use water with selenite because it will start to disintegrate. So just
Oh
note that.
no,
Yeah, yeah, we don't want that.
I
They're
didn't
too
know
pretty.
that.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre. Amethyst actually, if put in direct sunlight too long, will fade. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So, um, just a couple of stone things. Maybe we're due for an episode on more rocks and crystals.
I love that. I love that. I loved
Nice,
your last
nice.
episode on that.
Oh yeah, good, good, good. Um, so I missed a couple of my notes when we were talking about your bedroom, so I want to run back there if that's okay. So as you're setting up, or enhancing your area for this journaling moment, think about the colors of blues and greens. I don't know if you have any blue or green in your bedroom, but that would be great to help support this, as well as the earth element in here too. So maybe a piece of selenite, or a really grounding stone. Any stone again will help. Be mindful, because this is your bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
be mindful that, so I can't sleep with any stones other than selenite in my bedroom. I can't really sleep. They keep me awake. It's too much energy. So if you notice you're not sleeping, take those stones out. Just keep selenite in there. Keep the other stones in another area of your home. Okay?
Okay, great.
Nice, nice. All right. So we talked about spiritual growth, personal development. Um, I think we're good. I think we have those two areas. So the bedroom, we're going to enhance. We're going to think about that, the center area of your home, health and well-being, and then the front door. On your floor plan, I'm looking at, you have a wall right there. I feel like I'm jumping around, but I'm thinking of more things as we're talking.
Yeah. No, I love it.
Sometimes our homes don't lay out beautifully following the Bagua map, right? There's
Right.
walls, there's stairwells, there's closets in areas that we need to enhance. And what do we do? Well, you have that wall there. So keep it tidy around there. Make sure there isn't a pile in front. We had years ago, we lived in a home that the center gua was a stairwell. And my husband had this thing with stacking stuff on the stairs to go up. There'd always be a pile. And so we had to make a point to get out of that habit, right? I put a basket around the corner so we could put anything that needed to go up. Check in with lighting around that area. Make sure there are no spent light bulbs. If there are, replace those ASAP. Make sure everything is clean. Any mirrors are sparkling. Any glass on any artwork might be sparkling. Um, just make sure everything's dust free and just really loved, right? You don't have to buy a new piece of furniture. You don't need to paint. Sometimes it's just those little things that
Mm-hmm.
just to make it feel refreshed, clean, tidy, and functioning really well.
I love that. And thank you for those actionable tips too, because as you were describing those, um, that wall, so in the living room, I have artwork on that side, and then on the opposite side of that is the it, the opposite side of that wall is the kitchen, and I have the cat dishes
Okay.
along that baseboard right there with the pantry. So making sure that all of that is tidy, clean, that
Yes.
there's not, even with cats, I've got one that likes to pull the kibble out of the bowl and eat it off the ground
Cute.
and leaves little crunchies everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and I had been doing that, but really making that top of mind too.
Yeah,
Just notice as I'm passing through to get a cup of tea or to go turn laundry or get a glass of water, just to check that area periodically to make sure that it's tidy and to clean the
definitely.
glass, like you said, and the light bulbs.
Yeah. Yeah, and just make sure it feels really great for the cats too, right? Maybe make sure their bowls are extra cute. Do whatever you can to enhance. Of course, keep it tidy. I actually recently worked with a woman, and we discovered that the dog water bowls were in this area, right in the center. And it was also first thing you saw as you entered the home. And then there's like the dog bowls, and dogs aren't always so clean,
Mm-hmm.
right, when they're drinking their water. Um, and so we really had to be mindful. So if this is you, if you're listening, you're like, oh my gosh, my dog bowls are right in the middle. That's okay, right? Like Megan said, she's just going to tidy as she walks by
Mm-hmm.
or just pick up. I mean, we have to, I'm a big believer, we have to live in our homes, right? It isn't a showpiece. Live in your home. It can get messy. Just clean it up again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right. Do you have any other questions about your space? Anything that I can answer? Any questions about things happening in your space or other goals you
So
might have?
let me run this question by you fast. The color that we think that we want to paint the front door is a sage green type color, maybe even close
Okay.
to the color that's on the wall, if you're watching on video that's immediately behind you, kind of that shade of green. Do you feel like that would be the best color for the front door with where it's at, or would
Mm-hmm.
you recommend that we explore other options?
So your front door is relatively in the center of your home. If you were looking at your home,
Mm-hmm.
it's in the center if you're looking left to right. So that using the three gate method, that would put your front door in the career gua. So the color to this gua is black. The element is water, so you could go blue or black.
Uh-huh.
But you could also bring that in through some other aspect. You can get some beautiful pots to put out front, right? If you
Sure.
don't want to do a black door, right? That's kind of a bold statement. You're not a blue fan, right? We can do other things. You don't have to paint your front black or blue. Of course, that's kind of perfect if you're up for it. But if you really
Yeah,
want to do a green, I would do a green, maybe accent in black, maybe some trim pieces, maybe a cute sign. I would bring some sort of black, blue water element because the black also is a water element. It's just like think of the depths of the ocean.
sure.
So bring it in through some other aspect. Okay. Maybe some pots, a rug. Okay.
Perfect. I love that.
Nice. Cause if you I feel like a lot of people these days are gravitating towards green and it
Mm-hmm.
feels so natural and earthy. And if that's what you love and your body responds to, then go for it. I'm in a green room. My office is green too.
I love it. There's something about it that just feels very serene. Although I would be
Yeah.
open to exploring blue. I mean, it's
Mhm.
our house is red brick, and
Mhm.
I feel like either black or blue would look nice. So
Mhm.
the green was just an idea that we had, but since we weren't 100%
Mhm.
committed to it yet, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to ask you about it.
Yeah. So here's what I would suggest because you like that soft greeny kind of color. Think about a um, blue that's kind of grayed out. Okay. So
Yeah,
it's like kind of not a bold blue, but it has like some grayish to it. And I think that will feel really good to you. Yeah.
I know exactly the color that you're talking about as
Yeah.
far as that where it leans more on the cooler gray side and not
Hmm.
so much of the like vivid jewel tone type blue.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly. Or like grass green. We want to go a little more gray and it'll just feel a little softer.
Hmm.
Nice. Perfect. 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 Do you have any other questions?
No, thank you so much for your time today. Those
Yeah.
were um, two big things that I was wanting to work on still yet this year. And
Nice.
I love your insight and recommendations and can't wait to start implementing those.
Perfect. Well, I have one final question for you. Question I ask everyone. What is your favorite space in your home, and tell us about it?
My favorite space, so I know we had talked earlier about the reading and music room, or sometimes like within family, we'll call it like the 60s room. I love that because it's it overlooks our backyard. We have bird feeders, large windows in that room, and it's north facing. So I feel like we always get just enough, beautiful diffused light coming in.
Hmm.
So it's a favorite spot just to relax after a long day or to go sit in the morning with a cup of coffee. And also, it's it's a reminder too that you don't have to follow societal norms, and it's okay to question and to try out something new with your space. And at the end of the day, if we want to turn it back into a dining room, we can. But I would say I know a long answer to your question, but I love that space. It really emulates a lot of our energy and just feels really good to be in that space.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing. And I love that you really
Yeah.
personalized it. It's your space. You should make it your space. And again, like if you go to sell someday, maybe for resale, you can
Mhm.
always turn it back into a dining room.
Absolutely. Yep. And I feel like all
Perfect.
those key pieces there to make it a dining room, it would be easy to stage to make it look like a dining room.
Nice. Megan, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Lisa. I loved our conversation, and I'll be sure to reach out to you to let you know how those little
Oh, yes.
tweaks and how
Give us an
things
update.
feel.
Give me an update. Let me know. What I think would be so fun is down the road, have everybody come back and talk about some of the adjustments they, took on and how their space feels afterwards. So we'll have to have you back.
That'd be
Um,
fun.
Oh my gosh. Everyone, if you want to get a feng shui audit of your home or your small business, your home office, then you can do this too. Head over to my website to apply to get on an audit episode, and I will send you all the info. Thank you again one more time to Megan, and everyone. I will see you next week. I'd like to thank our production company, Coraggio Media, the WELT 95.7 studios, and our sponsor, Good Chi. For more information, follow the link in the show notes. Be sure to hit like, hit the subscribe button, and leave us a 5-star review. If you want to connect, find us on Facebook, and be sure to let me know what topics you'd like to hear about. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time.